another country, and yeah, here we go as we're on Laos for the first of today's video. Here we go with notifications on my tablet. Yeah, here we go, starting off with history as usual. As the earliest inhabitants of Laos were more or less hunter-gatherers, as farmers growing rice and pulses. As the first farmers used stone tools from about 2000 BC, and from about 2000 BC onwards bronze was used in Laos, and from about 500 BC iron. However, unlike Vietnam, the people of Laos were influenced by India rather than Chinese culture. As from the 1st century AD, Indian merchants introduced Theravada Buddhism into Laos, and from the 9th to the 13th century the Khmers from Cambodia ruled much of what is now Laos. However, in the 14th century, the ancestors of today's Laotians founded a kingdom called Lanzang, and the first king was ambitious Chao Pha Ngun, who was succeeded by his son Phaya Samsentai, and in 1373, and we ruled until 1421 under him. Lanzang became a prosperous kingdom. Unfortunately, his successors were not as skillful rulers. And in 16th century, Lanzang was threatened by Burma, but managed to retain its independence. And in the 17th century, greatness was restored to the Lanzang by Saurayavongsa from 1637 to 1694, and his long reign was seen as a golden age. During it, Lanzang became powerful and prosperous, but when he died in 1694, he did not leave an heir. And in the early 18th century, Lanzang split into 3 regions, centered on Luang Prabang in the north, Vientiane in the middle, and Chamsak in the south. And it was divided in that way where Laos was weakened and fell prey to Siam in Thailand, as in 1779 the Siamese founded forces occupied Vientiane, and afterwards 3 Laotian states were dominated by the Siam or Thais. In 1804, Anovong became king of Vientiane, and by 1825, Anovong was determined to overthrow Siamese domination and restore the kingdom of Lanzang. And in 1827, he advanced into Assam but was defeated and forced to retreat, as Anovong fled to Vietnam, and several months later returned to Vientiane but was captured by the Siamese, ending all hope of restored Lanzang. And in 1867-68, a Frenchman called Francis Garnier travelled through what is now Laos, but the French left Laos alone for 2 decades, and then in late 1880s, early 1890s, the French influence grew in the area. Finally, in 1893, the Siamese formally surrendered all territory east of the Mekong River to the French, and the Laos became a part of the French Empire in Southeast Asia. However, the French took little interest in Laos, and a few French people lived there. And in 1941, the French fought a war with the Thais for Laotian territory, as the Japanese forced an armistice and parts of Laos were given to Thailand. And in April 1945, the Japanese forced the pro-French king Sisavang to declare independence from France. And following the Japanese surrender in September of 1945, Prince Petsara was Prime Minister of Laos and headed a government called Lao Isara, known as Free Lao. Laotian independence did not last long, and in March 1946 the French invaded Laos, and by May of that same year they were in control in control of the country again. Yeah, and then in 1950, a pro-communist Prince Subhanovong formed an organisation that became known as Papet Lao, Land of Lao. And at first it was a relatively small organisation backed by the Viet Minh, which was a communist organisation in Vietnam, as far as I'm aware. I'll get some more on that later, like the next few days and all. Meanwhile, the French were losing control in Southeast Asia, and in 1953 they withdrew from Laos, which became independent and a constitutional monarchy. However, Laos in the 50s was a divided country. Most were ruled by royalist governments supported by the US, while parts were ruled by pro-communist Papet Lao, assisted by their allies the Viet Minh. And all attempts to find a political solution failed, and in the 1960s, Laos became drawn into a wider Asian war. As from 1964 to 73, the US bombed. Yep. Papet Lao. Yeah. Yeah. But failed to defeat them. And then in 1975, South Vietnam and Cambodia fell to the communists. And seeing the way things were going, royalists fled from Laos, allowing the Papet Lao to take over. As the Laos People's Democratic Republic was founded on the 2nd of December 1975, as a full communist regime was introduced. However, in 1988, the government of Laos introduced market reforms. As a result, the economy of Laos began to grow rapidly. So Laos is still a poor country, but it's developing rapidly and poverty is declining. As Laos also has great potential for tourism and all. And then Laos joined ASEAN in 1997 and WTO in 2013, as the population stands at around 7 million somewhere. Moving on to language. The Lao language, also called Laotian, is one of the Tai languages of Southeast Asia, and is one of the official languages of Laos. As Lao occurs in various dialects, which can differ among themselves at least as much as Lao differs from Thai dialects of northeastern Asia, northeastern Thailand, as the latter are usually called northeastern Thai. But the difference between Lao and northeastern Thai is more political than linguistic. Like the other Thai languages, Lao is generally monosyllabic, in words from the user's tone pitch differences, and to distinguish between words of other pronounced alike. Some polysyllabic Lao words do occur, and for the most part they borrow from Pali, the language of the Buddhist scripture related to Sanskrit, and from Cambodian. And Lao has also received influence from the neighbouring and closely related Standard Thai, the national language of Thailand, and the language is written in a script of Indic origin, similar to that of Thai. And moving on to legends. Lao folk tales and legends reflect the majority Buddhist culture and are told with humour and mixed reverence for the current communist state. Nigeria is still communist, as are a few other countries around the world. And some stories have origins in the Panchatantra Sanskrit stories from India, which are also the basis of many of Aesop's fables, and others are Jataka stories that tell the past lives of Buddha. And yeah. And the first of the stories is a lazy novice, as Khan was a very lazy novice monk. He slept all day instead of doing his chores, and Abbot assigned Cam to sweep all the chicken poop off the temple ground. As Cam began to put the broom down, and as soon as the Abbot was out of sight, and that evening the Abbot found Cam sleeping, called him later and said that if the next day there was even one piece still on the ground, he'll make Cam eat it. As the next day, Cam heated palm sugar over the fire until the burnt pieces resembled chicken poop. As he strategically scattered the sugar pieces and went back to sleep, and when Abbott found him, he was furious and Cam told Cam that he would teach him a lesson and make him eat the poop. As Cam ate the pieces of sugar and told Abbott how delicious it was, and then he ate another, the curious Abbott tried a piece and agreed it was sweet, and told Cam to sweep all the poop and put it on a plate for him to eat, and Cam swept the whole yard and placed it on the plate, and to his delight, the Abbott spit out the first bite in disgust, and Cam said, "What do you expect? You're eating chicken poop." And yeah. And next is the clever rabbit. As a hare asked Uncle Elephant to play a tug of war, as the elephant was sure that he would win and allow the rabbit to tie a rope to his life. As the hare asked the giant Uncle Catfish to play a tug of war, the Mekong catfish was sure that he would win and allow the rabbit to tie the other end of a rope to his tail. As the rabbit yelled tug, as both animals were pulled as hard as they could, thinking the rabbit was much stronger than he looked, and when they looked over their shoulders and saw that it was each other and the rope at the end of the rope, they knew they had been tricked and set out to find Rabbit, who was hiding in a dead horse's skull. As the elephant walked past the skull, and Rabbit put on a booming voice, "Wherever Rabbit, I was alive once as you. I laughed at the rabbit, and now I'm dead." The elephant became frightened and ran back to the river to tell the catfish, as new animal bothered the rabbit, who lived to play jokes another day. And there's Yang Miang, that obeys the king exactly. As Yang Miang, the trickster, formerly known as the novice Cam, was enlisted by the king to carry his majesty's betel nuts to a horse race, and foot while the king rode his white horse. As king waited to track and watch the races, but wanted to chew his betel nut. As Yang Miang walked very slowly, smelled the flowers and took a nap, and arrived at the 9th and final race. As king asked him where he had been, as Yang Miang had said he had been told to follow, but not how fast. As the next week, the king told Yang Miang to follow him to the race as quickly as possible. As Yang Miang ran to the race, and on his way the betel nuts fell out of his bag. As the king was very young when Yang Miang arrived and asked why he didn't pick up the betel nuts, Yang Miang had said he would have been late and had he picked up the dropped nuts, and the king next week informed Yang Miang to follow him as quickly as possible and pick everything up that he drops. Yang Miang followed the king and put all the manure that they dropped from the king's horse into a bag with the betel nuts, and when the king reached his hand into the back of a racetrack and pulled out a handful of manure, Yang Miang told him the king had followed his exact words. And yeah. And that's essentially what I've got for you today. Yeah, there's a few around, swirling around, and yeah, I'll put the links in the description below, and yeah, I'll see you all tomorrow. So yeah, au revoir for now.